Be.
Oh, he's... Ladies and gentlemen, let me first thank you for not watching the Beard is Best Masterclass on the other channel and spending some time with us. We greatly appreciate it. Welcome along once again to the third and long podcast. I am, of course, the incomparable Welsh wizard, Shane Harris. To my right is the podcast OG, Mr. Oliver Butler Henderson. In the bottom corner is Mr. Media Extraordinaire, Mr. Philip Perrins. And boys, look, he's back. My beautiful baby's back.
You know what I'm more impressed about? We've actually got 4 of us. I can't remember the last time we had 4 people.
I know. What's going on here?
You know, it's unlike
can I start with how he's been, how he's doing, what's going on? Baby, fill us in. Where have you been? What's going on?
I was on a cruise for a couple of weeks. I was in Portugal, Spain, Gibraltar, Morocco, and a couple of the Canary Islands, and then I came back unwell, so I was unable to come on last Thursday, but just about made it on today. And Dave, actually, I was in Gibraltar. It says, lads, great to see you all 4 together.
Yes, Dave.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh,
and then he said, Gibraltar in all caps. Actually, Dave, Gibraltar was my favorite port of all of the ports I went to on the cruise.
I mean, he only went into the port. He didn't go anywhere else.
There's only one port I know about. It's got nothing to do with ships. But I digress.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's nice to have all 4 of us back together. Doing on various different things. Mr. Perrins is back in school, so as always, he's with us, but not with us.
He's like that old Deftones song. He's like the old Deftones song back in school.
Yep. And Mr. Harris, how's things with you, my friend?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Looking forward to another bank holiday weekend. I'm going to be out in Bristol with my friends Sunday, catching up with a lot of people I haven't seen for a while. Yeah, it's going to be really good. I'm really looking forward to it.
Nice. I'm down in Salisbury this weekend for a 40th birthday party.
I'm in Cheltenham this weekend.
I was in Cheltenham last weekend. That was a good game. That was, actually, to be fair. Not as good as last night's game. Mr. Perrins, would you like to tell us what top you are wearing today, sir?
So I bought it before the start of the season and it's only just arrived. But my brand new 25 season jersey of the Arlington Renegades has finally arrived. And I'm rocking a future Hall of Famer, 89 Perrins.
I thought you were going to say $25, because it probably was from DHgate.
Oh, right. We have a lot to cover tonight, so let's get on with it. If I can find the button, because it's been a while.
This is the news in 60.
Yeah, so this is your news and your 60-second NFL news update. The Washington Commanders are heading back to DC. A deal has been struck to build a new $4 billion stadium at the old RFK site, where they originally were when they were the Redskins way back when. A planned opening of 2030. George Kittle and San Francisco 49ers have struck a new 4-year deal worth $76.4 million contract, making the highest paid tight end in the league. The Carolina Panthers, it's just gone off, bolstering their receiving corps with a familiar face. The former Clemson standout and Pro Bowl wide receiver Hunter Renfrow signed with the team after a year away from the NFL. It takes him back to Carolina, where he is originally from, his hometown. And for Mr. Perrins, because he's on about it, Jordan Travis, 1 year with the New York Jets, after being drafted last year, has decided to retire from the league. That is literally for Mr. Perrins, because I said, news, we got this, and he spammed the chat about it.
He did.
It is sad that guy who stepped away from the league after 1 year.
Mama,
Go on.
Mama Travis is devastated, absolutely devastated.
Mama Travis.
Yeah, so it was. I mean, it's. I kind of made a joke about it because we universally kind of like said between ourselves when I posted the thing on our WhatsApp chat, like, oh, forgot that he was even in the league. But like, it was made like a big kind of like deal if you look on like the Jet socials. The big like there was multiple posts about it, and I was like going, oh, he's literally just a second year, he's in his early 20s, and he's kind of like and if you remember, Becky, Chris Borland for the 49ers.
I don't remember him, but I do remember Jalen Hurd, who never actually played a snap because kept.
Oh, Ollie, I haven't missed this. I haven't missed this bit at all.
Yeah, I know.
No, but like it reminds me of. I mean, not even remotely the same, but like Jordan Travis. Sorry, I don't know. I keep going with Travis Jordan. Chris Borland played 1 season for the 49ers. He was drafted as a rookie. He came in. He balled out for that entire season. They were talking about building, the defense, rebuilding the defense around him with like Bowman and Willis and him. And then he kind of just announced his retirement literally straight after. He literally was a one and done season player. Not that I'm saying like Jordan Travis is remotely the same, but it's kind of set in there after a year. Injuries or like mindset has took somebody out of the game, because you kind of think that in the NFL, that is your goal, isn't it? Like you go from like pee-wee school, middle league, high school, college, and you want to play, professionally. It's the elite of the elite, and that's just like the framing of like the American system. There isn't really any. Well, there is a second tier system, and there's a third tier system, but everyone wants to play in the NFL. No one grows up going, you know what? I want to play in the CFL.
Who's
10 years
vibrating?
time, they might be saying that they might want to play in the UFL, but Jordan Travis, he's a one and done.
Yeah, I
Was
believe
it-
it was injury, wasn't it? That
Yeah.
retire.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, whose phone was vibrating? Phil, was that your phone vibrating then?
No, I'm really sorry. My internet's really lagging, and it looks like I'm glitching on my screen. I don't know if it sees it on yours. And
No, I
think it
as
does,
we're talking,
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Yeah, it is now.
It's like cyberpunk. The gimmicks we got now, it looks cool, doesn't it? Yeah,
Right,
whoever's
I gotta
on
remove
phone that
him
was,
for a
that was probably Jordan Travis looking for a job, I expect.
Pat, I know there's a lot of hackers going around them, but I don't think they're going to hit a small podcast. Right, gentlemen, let's go to some actual news. Commanders are moving back to the RFK site where the original Washington Stadium was. Have we seen the renderings for this stadium?
I haven't, no, but I think it was only a
Yeah.
matter of time that they were going to move to somewhere else, because everyone knows that FedEx Field is the worst stadium in the league, 100%. And there's enough memes and pictures and videos and that sort of thing to show that.
Northwest Field.
No. I refuse this. No, do you know what? Right, and this is my soapbox moment, and I'm going to enjoy this. I'm a big fan of arenas and stadiums. I'm a big architecture mark in that way. I would love. My dream job is to work in a stadium. When I worked in a Principality Stadium during COVID, I saw every inch of it, and it's probably the biggest achievement of my life. And I hate the fact when stadiums chase the money. The Principality Stadium will always be the Millennium Stadium. The Utilita Arena in Cardiff will always be the CIA. I hate the fact that they've got to change names just to, quest after the almighty dollar. I don't agree with it. But yeah, I completely understand what you're saying. But I think the fact that they need to leave that dump, no matter what they call it these days. Same with Akershus Stadium. You know exactly what I call that place.
But yeah, Ollie, I have seen the renderings and it does look incredible.
For those who haven't seen it, and for those who are watching as we speak to us now, after Mr. Harris had a lovely rant, which I might have to.
I get down now. Sorry.
Harry, yeah, jump off your soapbox, mate. This is the picture that's one that's been released. It is stunning. It reminds me a bit like of Las Vegas, but it's going to have a full-on glass roof. It looks absolutely brilliant. Like I said, it's going to be ready for the 2031 season. Possibly Super already 32/33, depending.
I think I read something saying that the 3.7 billion is going to be like the biggest investment in Washington DC ever or something.
So yeah, it's the millions. It's not just for the stadium, but it's to wholly renovate the whole area, hotels, restaurants, making it a full area. Obviously, they're going to still keep the car parks and things like that in, but yeah, that's what they are planning to do. It looks brilliant, and it's nice to have the stadium back in Washington, back where it was. Yeah, FedEx Field was a.
I mean, a lot of teams are moving like back into the city because Chicago are moving back in Chicago. Well, not back in Chicago, but they're moving into Chicago for the first time.
Yeah,
aren't they?
more into the city. I see a lot of SoFi in that render of the new Commander Stadium. I do, especially with like the scoreboard banner on the top.
that seems to be a common affair now, doesn't it? These dome stairs. Either have a massive box in the middle, or have that jumbotron going around the outside. But yeah, it looks absolutely splendid. Gentlemen, Kittle is staying in San Francisco indefinitely
Okay.
for 4 years. How are we feeling?
I think he's going to retire a Niner now. I think he will retire at the end of those 4 years as a Niner and go rightfully into the Hall of Fame 5 years after that.
Am I right in thinking the contract? I mean, I said to you up there, I left all my notes at work stupidly. His contract is front end heavy loaded.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Who said that?
Me.
As a coach,
I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but I do recall seeing that it was.
He's estimated to pick up 20 million this season.
so will this leave enough? Because obviously Brock is going to have to get paid next season. Is this leaving enough for him to still get massively paid?
Oh,
I don't
because
know, because even though we've got, and baby, I don't know how much you know about this, because I looked at it this morning. We are I don't know why I'm doing my pen here like I'm annotating mid-air because you can't see me. But I think we're fourth in terms of most cap space. However, we're 80 million in the red for dead cap. So it kind of means very little overall. I think the deal will get done for Brock, but I think Brock's contract will be heavy on the back end, if that makes sense. Because yeah. So I think Brock's contract will be heavy back end, because there was also talk of sorting out Fred Warner's contract, because obviously he is a big voice in that locker room for San Francisco as well. So I think it does leave room for Brock. I think they're going to commit to Brock, and I'm going to guess this will be done by. I don't think they'll drag it out like they've done in previous years. I mean, George Kittle turned around and said, "I want a new contract," and then a week later, so it was signed. So I don't think this is going to get dragged out until the start of the season.
Mr. Harris.
I completely agree with Baby. He's going to retire in Niner now. But in all honesty, it's been well documented that George Kittle is a huge wrestling fan. I genuinely thought he's going to follow Logan Paul's footsteps and try a new career, perhaps, or at least a part-time career. But no, now that he's signed that contract, I genuinely think he's going to retire. That Baby is correct.
Oh, I think he's going to go into WWE once he finishes in the NFL.
But without going into different territory, considering that we're all four of us are now huge wrestling fans.
Now we are.
I wouldn't say huge.
You have a very stern interest in particular assets of professional wrestling, Baby.
Yes, you do.
But I do generally think, even in the off season, he's friends with Pat McCaffrey. McCaffrey. He's ringside at WrestleMania. I wouldn't be surprised.
For Backlash.
Yeah, considering that the WWE love synergy, they love cross promotion, and George Kittle, he has the personality, he has the charisma, he probably has the mic skills, and damn it, I wouldn't be surprised if George Kittle is all up for putting himself through a table. I'm not saying
100%.
I think he's the same age as Logan Paul, but obviously Logan Paul is a different situation because George Kittle.
Logan Paul's a freak of nature.
Logan Paul is a YouTuber who happened to fall into professional wrestling. He is just a more built version of the Miz. And maybe that could be like George Kittle having his Lawrence Taylor moment, in the future. If you remember Lawrence Taylor, WrestleMania 11, main
Yes,
evented
of
against
course.
Bam Bam Bigelow.
Well done.
I'd say more Gronkowski.
I was
Yeah,
thinking Jason Kelsey with the Luchador Max. But okay.
No, sack Jason Kelsey off. You can get in the bin.
Whoa! Why is he upset you? What's he said to you now?
No, it's just I don't like Jason Kelsey.
Baby hope.
Okay, so just going back to what we actually talked about, which was Kittle's contract, and does this leave room for Brock? Brock still does have a year left on his contract.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming
they're going to want to get it done in the regular season.
I know. I think we'll get it done before the regular season, because from what I hear, it's pretty they're very close from what I hear.
What I've read today is there is a 50 million cap space in San Francisco now.
Yeah, well, from what I heard, the only stumbling block at the moment is that Brock wants a 5-year deal and we want to offer him a 3-year deal. That's what I've heard. The stumbling block is the only stumbling block is apart from that. Yeah, 3.
Yeah. So hang on, why are they? Is this right? This is the case, right? Yes, we believe in you, but we don't believe in you enough to give you 5 years. Or are they saying like maybe in a couple of years' time that right? Okay, if Arch Manning doesn't declare this year, he might be available next year, and we can go after him.
I'm not. I think what it's saying is, okay, you proved you're okay, but last year you weren't great. You need to prove to us again that over the next 3 years that you're worth the money we're paying you.
Yeah, you got to earn it.
Yeah. So that's what I understand the only stumbling block is. I believe it's believed to be between 45 and 50 million a year.
Yeah. And to be fair, I can totally see from our front office having a better sense this offseason because, we spent a lot of money and didn't get a lot back in, in terms of contracts and extensions and people that we got in free agency. And I agree. I think Brock Purdy is the guy. I mean, if you look at his 3 years in the league, one game, one season where he got to the NFC Championship, and if he didn't go down injured, I do believe we would have got to the Super Bowl that year. The second season, we literally got to the Super Bowl with him under center, and he was not the reason for why we lost the Super Bowl. Last year, everybody on the organization flopped. We're not going to throw needless shade at Brock Purdy, but there's players that are on the team that aren't on the team anymore for various reasons. There's people that underperformed. Let's not overlook the fact that defense, offense, special teams, we had our issues and we also had injury concerns as well. So I think, offering a 3-year deal is more than enough incentive for all parties to go, all right, then prove yourself in 3 years and we'll give you a fat pay rise, that will kind of set you up for the rest of your career. And Brock Purdy himself can go right, then I've got 3 years to prove that I'm the man. Guaranteed money, and we've seen this in the league, guaranteed money sometimes means that players take a backseat and don't try because they've got guaranteed money, they've got that contract. So I'm all for players and organizations having those incentives.
Then why would they go? They've generated enough space. So there's 50 million in cap space in there. Why would they go right? There's 50 million now, right? It's not go right. You're still young. You're what? 24 is he now?
Yeah.
So he's not even at his prime yet. So right, 3 year, 30 million. 2 years, we'll talk again, and we'll double your money. Why did they do that? Why didn't they just, instead of going right, here is X, Y, Z?
There was a talk, and it was mumbled towards the end of our season, is that the Yorks and Jed York in particular, who are the owners of the 49ers organization, were very upset that they went from being cheapskates to then forking out a ton of money to pay a lot of players that didn't bring home number 6. I don't think it's a case of, we've got the cap space, let's spend it all. I do think maybe the Yorks are thinking about, well, this year, maybe if we're not going to compete for anything, let's not send all that money out all in one go. If we're in this you can't see my quotations, but I'm doing quotation marks in the air. If we're in a rebuilding stage, why am I spending all of our cap space on a rebuilding stage at this time? So I don't see it as a negative as, oh, that's not, let's spend all that cap space all in one go. I'm okay with like holding it back because maybe we have a great start to the season and we might want to do some trades and bring some players and or extend certain players. I can see that being a very, very viable solution. What do you think, baby?
I agree with you, but I do think that we need to get this done before training camp. We need to get Fred Warner done before training camp.
Yes.
And John Lynch actually needs to prove that he can do that.
Fair enough.
To me, because he seems to, because last 4 or 5 years he's dragged out all contracts when he's not needed to.
Okay, right. Let's roll on to Hunter Renfro. So we a lot of the time we spoke like during the season, what's happening to Hunter Renfro? Where's he gone? Why is he suddenly not playing? Well, it's come out that he was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, which is a type of inflammatory bowel disease that causes inflammation of the ulcers in the lining of the rectum and colon. Very, very nasty thing. He dropped down to 150 pounds. That's like 9 stone, something stupid like that. So he's obviously got himself ill, got himself back together, got himself better, got his weight back up, gone back to the Panthers, gone back home. And this guy was an 8-time Pro Bowl. He's over 8,000 yards in the 10 years he's played in the NFL. He's a super, super player.
Yeah, I was really high on Renfro. I think it was me who was banging the drum saying, why have the Raiders forgotten this guy exists?
Yeah.
And now obviously it's been.
And now it's kind of like going, oh, that'll be the reason. Yeah, yeah. So good work by Carolina. And there's another really good bit of safe hands, good route running, wise head, veteran, like they've got with Adam Thielen. So they're doing the right thing with that. They're doing the right thing around Carolina. They should have done season 1 with Bryce Young.
Yeah, but I mean, I think we should give season 1 a pass because they had Frank Reich as their coach.
Noted.
And boys, all of a sudden, that bare bones Panthers wide receiving core has become a little bit better with Xavier Legette already there with a really good rookie season. Adam Thielen, who I'm a big personal fan of anyway. I think he's class. He's getting on in years, of course he is, but is always dependable. And a Hunter Renfro to come in he may be a little bit rusty, which you would expect after taking a year out, that he's probably worried about his body as well. Can it cope with the NFL standards? And of course, they drafted Ted McMillan as well, which we will get on to fairly shortly. He's going to be a monster in this league. So yeah, I think the Panthers, the pass catching abilities on that side of the ball are going to be interesting to say the least.
And I'm also very high on the running back, Chuba Hubbard. I think he's a quality running back.
Yeah, he got paid in the off season as well, didn't he? So
yeah,
and Tommy Trimble as well, tight end. It's a great name.
They're doing well. They're building this team up well now, and possibly getting them back to the Super Bowl in 2-3 years time. The way they're building this team up, which is
I think their defense needs fixing first.
So try 10, but okay.
Hey, they're getting there. They're building the pieces up. They're getting better. They're trying to work out what their quarterback is by giving him the protection, the weapons. You go, right, can he actually do it? Because there's a very good QB class coming in next year. So if not, there's that coming in anyway.
There's Arch Manning, you mean?
There's a couple of good ones in there. Right.
Can't do anything. Follow the McCorkle Jones route.
I'm not even going to say the name of another one because he doesn't even deserve my breath.
Do it.
No, I'm not going to say him.
Dear Sanders.
No. Quarterback.
Make sure you're daft.
A quarterback that might have left Tennessee recently.
And it's on a postcard then.
Yeah, that's. Why am I stumped? Can't think. Right.
Tennessee Volunteers I'm talking about.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Mr. Perrins.
Hello.
UFL, fill us in, my friend.
All right, so I'm going to talk about the game, about the jersey that I'm currently wearing. It was this week's highlight reel between the DC Defenders and the Arlington Renegades. These are really two top-tier teams. It went right to the wire. Heavy scoring on both. In fact, you could argue, and I will say this, it was one of those typical game of two halves. In the first half, the Renegades put up an obscene amount of points. We'll just get the scoreboard very, very quickly just to go through it. Oh, no, it's not even let me do that. Brilliant. Thank you, ESPN. And then
what you need?
The Defenders literally blew them away in the second half and won 37-33. So the DC Defenders are currently the best performing team in the UFL, then followed by the Renegades. This week, we have probably, again, the game of the week will involve the team that I do follow, which will happen tomorrow night or Saturday morning, depending where you are, between the Renegades and the Battlehawks. These are probably the best supported teams in the UFL, especially in St. Louis. I've said before, for the last couple of years that we've talked about the XFL and now the UFL, St. Louis loves their football teams. They have embraced the UFL/XFL better than any other city in this competition. And the Battlehawks at home, it's going to be a great, great occasion. The Brahmas continued their incredible losing streak by losing 27-3 to the Roughnecks. The Battlehawks, who I previously mentioned, beat the not the Birmingham Panthers. Sorry, the Panther. Where are the Panthers from? Either way, the Battlehawks beat the Michigan Panthers. Thank you very much. Beat the Battlehawks 32. So the Battlehawks won 32-27, and the Showboats got their first win of the season in overtime against the current reigning defending UFL champions, the Birmingham Stallions. So the Showboats got their first victory in a 24-20 victory in overtime. So it is heating up. The games, with the exception of San Antonio, the Rocks team, are starting to deliver now. We're starting to get high pressure games. We're starting to get some really, really great plays. The scores are flowing, and it's starting to really, really heat up. I know I say it, and I said it for every single week, but this is a really, really fun league to watch, and it's actually quite nice to see ESPN, for the most part, and other YouTubers like That's Good Sports.
Yes, Brandon Perner.
I love Brandon Perner. He covers it as well. So does the urinating tree, and so does Barry McCosker. And it's been really, really fun.
Barry McCosker. That's not right. I know.
Barry McCosker. Barry.
Read it again, boy. Read it again.
No, I'm not. I haven't got anything in front of me. You can't even see me. I haven't got anything.
I'll tell you what it is.
It's Barry. It's McCosker. It's McCosker, isn't it, Barry?
Boy. It's a play on words. Barry. That's what if I can say it. It's Barry McCosker.
Oh. Here's how much I pay attention to his name. The one that talks monotone with the dogs at the end. It's like saying Drew P. Balls.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's been really, really refreshing to see this. Has any of you been following it, or have I just been like the lone reporter?
Like I said to you on week one, if anything, because I have notifications ping up on UFL on Twitter. So if anything happens, I keep an eye on that. I watch, the big plays. I watch like the 3-minute highlights that's on YouTube and stuff like that. I don't sit up and watch the games live, but I keep an eye on it. And like I said last week, there's some like spidey little players on there that could do something in the league, in our league.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just a great pathway for players that didn't necessarily come through. Also, as well, just because we're going to talk about the draft in a wee bit as well. Do you know that when the NFL has its draft, the CFL also has their supplement draft as well?
No.
Yeah, I saw that the Niners quarterback that they took in the 7th round has also been drafted in the CFL now too.
Yeah. So the 49ers have him on retainer, but if he is dropped, he is then to report to the Sasquatch. No, basically where he's going in the CFL. So he's got a job.
I thought you said Sasquatch.
So I didn't realize that, and I didn't realize as well that the CFL have, like in our football over here, where you have to have a certain amount of homegrown players to play in your team.
Yeah.
CFL have it as well, where they have to have a certain amount of Canadians on the roster for their league.
Interesting.
I might start playing the CFL. Jesus Christ.
Cool. Right. Draft time, because it is still that time of the year. How do we feel about our team's draft, gentlemen? I'm going to start with Mr. Hope.
I'm actually pretty happy with the Niners draft. I think we went out and we filled all the positions that we needed to. We went and got D-line. I really like Mikael Williams. I need to give a shout out to Baldy actually, because we were texting and he did predict we were going to take Mikael Williams. And then we went and got the defensive tackle from Texas. Basically, I think we filled all the needs we had. Whether they'll pan out and end up being as good as our rookie class was this year, because I think our rookie class this year was very good, remains to be seen. But I think we drafted the positions we needed. I am a bit worried about the fact that we spent a third round pick on a quarterback that's 5'9", though.
Mr. Harris.
From what I've read and what I've seen and what I've watched fairly recently since the draft feels like forever ago. It was only a week ago now. Baltimore had probably the best draft of all the teams in the NFL. Malachi Starks is.
Are you joking?
What do you mean? Tell me I'm wrong, boys. Boys, tell me I'm wrong. You know, me and Phil watched the same show. Me and Phil watched, as we said, That's Good Sports, Brandon Purna. We watched that. And there's a lot of like ESPN and CBS stuff I've been watching as well. It's easily the best draft in the AFC by a country mile. Then maybe
I think the Patriots.
Thank you.
Maybe, yeah. Like I said, we're all keeping an eye out for the Pats this year anyway. Maybe Eagles done better than us, possibly.
I think the Giants have the best draft.
Okay, my opinion's like noses. Everyone's got one.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, I could have said something else. Malachi Starks is an absolute ball hawk in the same mold as Ed Reed, and we all know that Ed Reed was a franchise legend, in the Charm City as well. I think the fact that Mike Green's going to be an animal. If he can keep his head on straight, keep away from certain things, he's going to be a real big asset on the edge for Baltimore. I think he's going to be great. And another thing that I noticed, which is a little tiny bit concerning, and even as a die-hard fan of this bloke, because he got so many sticky situations over the years, we drafted a kicker, which is worrying because if for some reason our Hall of Fame kicker leaves us, Justin Tucker. Yes, I saw that. Even I thought that was funny. If he does leave us, it looks like there's a bit of a contingency plan in Baltimore already. But yeah, as I said, I think we had an A- draft. In all honesty, I think we've done really well because we've always been known to be a team that could draft really well, and this year was no exception.
Right. I was going to let Mr. Pounds go next, but sod it. You threw a grenade at me, and I am literally batting it straight back at you. Bull, did you have the best draft in the league?
We did.
We did. Everyone that I've seen, even Colin Hurd, who's a bloody anti-patriot, has said we've had the best draft. Yes, okay.
Before you do, I forgot to say something. My apologies.
If we didn't trade back and they grabbed Will Campbell at say 10, that's fine. That's still a great pick. A need. Very, very good offensive tackle. Even if he can't fill it a tackle, he's going to slip it at guard. He's going to be a multi-Pro Bowl lineman. Trayvon Henderson. Oh my God, this is a human battering ram. If we didn't get Cam Skeskabo, who fell a couple of hours later, I wanted this guy. We're never going to get Justin or Gentry because it was never going to happen. Absolute battering ram. We got Carl Williams, who cooked Travis Hunter when he went against him in the ACC. Cooked him. Brilliant. Craig Woodson, strong safety. I really like the late pickups on Josh Farmer and Brendan Swinson, very good defensive on the side of it. Got a place kicker who missed one kick last year. One kick all year. Fixed every need they need and didn't go and just get random players from a D2 college. Okay, yes, Carl Duggar turned out amazing, but they got players that are, in some ways, shouldn't have been where they were. Fell where they are. Tyron Henson was predicted, could have been first round. Will Campbell, yeah. Carl Williams, second round prediction. Same as Craig Woodson. There's players there that have fell to us that we've grabbed and gone, sod that, we'll take him, but it's filled a need that we need. And I think we smashed it out the park with that one. And I'm really excited to see what they can do going forward into that one. Mr. Perrins.
So, I mean, I'm just going to go into a little bit more in depth about like ours, and I'm only going to really go with like picking before. I'm not terribly surprised that we didn't actually pick a offensive lineman in the first. I think we're bringing Robert Suller back. He was always going to be defensive heavy. Mikel Williams from Georgia, 6'5", just over 250 pounds. My only initial concern is that he missed a chunk of last season, his last year in college, with an ankle problem. And San Francisco love drafting players with injury concerns that never seem to heal. So that's my only concern over there as well. Alfred Collins from Texas, again, massive defensive tackle. And Nick Martin, who's kind of gone under the radar a wee bit. He is massively undersized at 5'11", but he gives off strong Mike Singletary vibes. For those who know Mike Singletary, he was the legendary middle linebacker for the Chicago Bears in the 80s. Similar kind of like styles, undersized, not like your big presence like Fred Warner, who looks like a predator. But he is very much always going to be where the ball is. He's quite nifty. He's quite on his feet. Undersized cornerback, Upton Stout, which sounds like a beer. Yeah, I can kind of see that. What he makes up, what he lacks in size, I should say though, he is very fast. He is very fast. I don't foresee him getting beat in man coverage. If he's going to get beat, he's going to get beat because the person that he's marking is a good foot taller than him. So I'm actually quite happy. All these seem like Robert Suller kind of picked with Kyle in the background going, well, what do you need? What do you need to make this defense, the mean machine again? So I'm actually all right with that. And if we go all the way back down to our round 7th pick, which sounds weird, the 49ers drafting a quarterback in the 7th round, Curtis Rock from Indiana. Quite a unit of a man. Have you seen him, baby?
Yeah.
He's 6'4.5". Okay. He has this huge durability. He does not look like, if you have him stand next to Brock Purdy, you would think that Brock Purdy is in high school. Like, he is huge. And what I think will go under the radar, and I don't be surprised if he actually at some point becomes backup. He's got an arm on him. Now, whether or not that arm is accurate for NFL levels, but during the combine, he did manage to put up some obscene numbers on some of his passing plays. So he is one to look at in the preseason games when he gets a bit of time under center.
So we've actually got a comment from the Touchdown King saying,
I say we've got a question.
Views on Eagles drafting Jihad Campbell. I think that's a great pick for the Eagles because
I was just going to say, oh dear, AFC East. NFC East, yeah, sorry. That Eagles defense
I'm surprised he fell that far, to be fair.
31st. So they traded up a place for him. That Eagles defense was scary last season under Nick Fangio. That is a blatant Nick Fangio style pick.
Vic Fangio, by the way.
Vic Fangio, yeah, sorry. Correct me if I'm wrong, he's an outside linebacker, can rush off the edge as well.
Yeah.
Can go from side to side. Rapid, he was his 40 was a 4.52, which was for the quickest of the linebackers. Can drop into coverage as well. Yeah. I'm glad.
One thing I will say,
That's
Well, I will say,
twice a year.
say a couple of things. CBS Sports had him as the second best linebacker in this draft class, and he's gone to the reigning Super Bowl champions. The only caveat to this, he's currently recovering from a torn labrum. He's been a little bit injury prone over his college career. You know, and they're saying he should be ready for training camp. But again, you know what we say about injuries. Once you're injured, you're never the same player. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see. You know, it'd be interesting to see because what?
I was just going to say, a torn labrum is something that can happen from a bad hit, just hitting someone wrong and getting your arm twisted on. That's not like a hamstring or Achilles or calf or leg muscles where it's a constant worry because you're pushing them all the time. That's a labrum is where your arm gets hit wrong. That's a nothing injury. But I say it's a nothing injury.
This is coming from someone who the only injury he's ever had is from running his mouth, right? But the fact that you've got Nakobe Dean of the Eagles expected to miss some time with a knee injury. So if Campbell is fit, he should plug in and play alongside Zach Bone to begin the season. So that'd be another interesting thing to watch.
Yeah. And obviously, he's not a George Bulldog, which was the biggest shock out of all of them.
Yeah.
Alabama.
Yeah.
Was it last year when Howie Roseman was on the phone and goes, taking all these Georgia Bulldogs is killing me because I'm a Florida Gator, and then the guy just went, yeah, but you want to win.
Yes. It was something like that. It was either that a year or year before, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Might have been last year. Can't remember now off the top of my head. You mentioned you think the Giants had a really good draft.
Yeah, so they were NFL gave them an A+ because they got, in my opinion, the best player in the draft, in Abdul Carter, who I think is gonna. I'm just thinking Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, and Kayvon Thibodeau. That is a very good defensive line.
Yeah, very strong line, very strong.
They went and got Jackson Dart, who was clearly their guy. They traded up to get him.
What do you make of that trade?
I think they needed to get a quarterback. I think Jackson Dart would have probably still been their start of the second round.
Yeah, agreed.
But they've got somebody to sit behind Russell Wilson for a year or two. And then...
Yeah, I think it's good on that sense. But he's got no pressure on this guy now. He's right. Yeah, I know I'm the first round pick. Yes, you're gonna expect me to start, but X, Y, Z. But I got two very, very good. Well, one very, very good and one very good at speaking veterans in that locker room now, who I can learn from a lot.
And then they went and got Cam Scatterbo, who I think he needs to stop talking, but I think he is a very good running back.
Well, you have a comment from a friend of the show.
Yeah, I'll get to that. I just quite enjoyed when Cam Scatterbo said he wasn't given enough credit for being the best football player ever.
Yeah, I mean, he was. I've seen him do the Heisman Trophy pose when he got thing by for the Heisman Trophy. Yeah, I mean, I like Cam Scatterbo. He is very much. If you've seen The Longest Yard, and it's Stone Cold when he plays the running back.
Yeah.
And he goes, "That's how a white ball runs the football. White man runs the football." And I was like, "Yeah, that's Cam Scatterbo."
You gotta do it in the accent, okay?
What?
What? That's how a white man runs the football.
Yes.
So going on to the comment from the friend of the show, Andy has said, Eagles once again smashed the draft. And to be honest, Andy, I agree with you. I think the Eagles had a very good draft.
Player-wise, they picked up, yes. I mean, they picked up some really good players. I like Ty Robinson from Nebraska. I think he's an absolute unit. And I like Mars Hinton from Michigan. I think that's a couple of really good ones. And they picked up another QB, Carl McCord from Syracuse, who was not a bad quarterback, not like the top layer, but he's good. He'll sit behind Jalen Hurts and learn. He is in the same kind of mold as Jalen Hurts. He obviously got that idea now, haven't they? And a Boston College boy, went in the 5th round as well. Drew Kendall, the centre for Boston College. So I was chuffed a bit with that. All my Boston College jerseys, not actually, to be fair. I thought I'll wear this instead. But they didn't feel a lot of needs. They didn't feel a couple of places wide receiver. I think they're a bit light there, and they didn't feel the tight end, which I think that could be an issue coming forward. Mr. Harris.
Apart from the Ravens had a really good draft, one of my favourite bits of this year's draft, right? And I'll give you a bit of backstory on this one. My best friend in this neck of the woods, my best friend for about 4 years, Drew Lanphier. You all know who he is, boys. You all know Drew. Best guitar player I've ever seen, even better friend. I've indoctrinated him into the flock. So he's a Ravens fan by proxy. So this past weekend, he was telling people that knew nothing about the NFL. He just kept saying to people like, did you know the draft this weekend, the Steelers haven't drafted a quarterback? And he was telling his mother, he was telling random people on the street. We were just laughing about it. But in round 4, they eventually drafted Will Howard, which is that quarterback room is laughable. It is hilarious. What do you think is going to happen there now? We've looked at free agency. There's nobody there that's a true caliber starter apart from Aaron Rodgers. But do you think he'd go to Pittsburgh?
I think there's one or two things that's going to happen in that Pittsburgh. Number one, Aaron Rodgers goes there, and I think that is what is eventually going to happen. But I think they have a contingency of going to trade for a certain man down in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Sure.
I also think that Will Howard's the best quarterback they've got in that room at the moment.
I agree.
I mean, watching him against Michigan in the NCAA final, he was a man on a mission. I think he went 9 from 9, like in 2 drives, and he literally ran the ball down the throat as well. He can scramble. He's a bigger version of Russell Wilson when he came into the draft in
2012.
2012, that was it. I couldn't remember if it was 12 or 11.
It's kind of funny. 2 teams in the AFC North don't really have a starting quarterback at the moment.
I know.
Yeah, let's talk about that situation.
Well, actually, sorry. Let me rephrase that. 3 don't.
Why is that, baby?
Well, the Ravens just play 2 running backs, don't they?
Right. Let's talk about a certain Shadir Sanders. Now, predicted to go top 5. Didn't go day 1. Didn't even go day 2. Slipped and slipped and slipped until it was finally picked up on 144 by Cleveland Browns. So much has come out. Reason why he's drafted. Like, apparently one team goes to him. So, what do you make of this play? What went wrong in this play? And his answer was, I don't think I'm the guy for you.
Yeah, but a lot of things.
That's class.
A lot of things have come out about Shadir Sanders from anonymous sources.
Yeah.
Own it. If you're going to criticize a player, own it.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Another thing is, though,
his dad as his agent.
Yeah, that could be an issue as well.
I noticed his brother fired his dad as his agent.
Yes, yeah.
He did,
and then got dropped, and then got picked up as a free agent. That's cool.
I don't know how you feel about it, and I think me and Baby, maybe me more so than Baby, because I remember Dion playing for the 49ers. Dion, before he got into San Francisco, was a controversial person anyway because of his personality. He was very outspoken. Unlike the Atlanta Falcons team, he was very much, I am the best on this team by a country mile. And when he left Atlanta on a free and signed with the 49ers, that first game back when we played Atlanta, he was booed. The 49ers had him come onto the pitch by himself, when they have like the entrances. If you go back and watch that footage, he was booed. However, in that game, he got 2 interceptions and batted one down that got caught for a pick 6. And he balled out. Now, the story of that is Deion Sanders in 2 consecutive years won 2 Super Bowls. He's a Hall of Fame player, and he backed up every single thing he said he would ever do. As a coach, he's been very much the same as well, but championing his son. Now, I think what's rubbed people up the wrong way is almost like the Tim Tebow kind of universe here, where the Sanders bring more attention to a team than the actual team. That's why for a while after when Tebow got cut by Denver, teams didn't want to pick him up because of it's Tebow. Even when he went to New England and he was a third stringer, Bill was still asked about when's Tebow getting a game? When's Tebow doing this? He's like, I'm playing Tom Brady. Tim Tebow's just on the practice squad. And the same thing happened with Colin Kaepernick. Have you noticed that every year Colin Kaepernick comes out of the woodshed and goes, I can still play? And there's a reason why 31 other teams won't touch Kaepernick, because of the attention that it brings that's distracting away from the team. Now, I wonder if that's been the case with the Sanders family because of Dion. If Dion comes in, is he going to be outspoken? He's in a position of influence in the media. Is he going to be outspoken? Is he going to overshadow whatever team he goes to? Sanders himself, he was very outspoken about, I don't want to play for this team. I want to play for this team. I only want to play for a top team. Blah 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 blah. Teams don't want that, and I think because we're in a world now of like social media presence and GMs doing their research on character, I can see why he dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped. Because one, it's humbling, but maybe teams didn't want to touch him.
I mean, maybe no one went to his birthday party.
Let's remember, the Browns have shown before they don't really care about character and who they pick up.
And that's what I'm saying about him going to the Browns. Now, I thought he would possibly go to New Orleans because that's who my insider was telling me he was likely to go, because since they have a problem, they have a car problem at the moment. It keeps breaking down. And they're looking to try. So I can see Shane laughing at my comment. That's why I'm making those car puns.
Of course, boy, of course. The old one to the best.
Okay, I'm gonna put a stop to that very quickly.
New Orleans, and that was probably the best fitted team for him to go to, where he would have been a starter, outright starter, regardless of how his development is. He's fell into Cleveland. Cleveland is a cesspool. I don't know which organization historically is worse at developing and nurturing quarterbacks. The Jets or the Browns?
And that's Mr. Parent's take on Cleveland. If you want more on the from the holiday experts of Cleveland, please go and see Mr. Parent on his social medias, and he'll happily fill you in.
All right, then, boys. Round the room really quickly. I want one name and one name only. Who do you think is going to be the biggest day one bust?
Oh, biggest day one bust.
Go on, baby. What have we got for me?
Malachi Starks.
You were seriously, that's childish.
No, if I'm being honest, I think I'm still not sold on Travis Hunter.
I'm exactly the same as you. I think it'd be a
bust. I was actually
really
going to say Travis Hunter as well, because I don't know how Jacksonville are going to use him. Are they going to use him as a weapon for Trevor, or they're going to use him on defense? And if they're going to do like what I call like the Phil Neville approach, where they don't really lock him down to a position because he is so multi-talented, maybe he is going to play both sides of the ball in his rookie year. We don't know. So I don't think Travis. Yeah, I'm agreed with Baby there, and you as well, Shano. I think Travis could be a huge bust.
Yeah, it's going to take him a couple of years to get at speed, isn't it? He's not going to be bang straight away and be this superstar player that he won in Jacksonville. I undoubtedly believe that he has the ability not to play like 100% of the snaps throughout the game, maybe 50% of the snaps on both sides of the ball. He's not going to do it because college ball's a lot easier than it is the NFL. They don't play as many games. They don't play as hard games as do. They have shorter weeks sometimes. The NFL, like sometimes they have a 4-day week. Yeah. I don't. It's going to take him a couple of years to get through it. My day one bust, I'm tossing up between two. Now it's either Walter Nolan from Ole Miss, who went to Cardinals, Arizona, or Matthew Golden, who went down from Texas to Green Bay. Matthew Golden was the speedster, quickest time in the combine this year.
Gordon's a player in my opinion.
I
He's
don't
right
know. I
over
don't know
too.
how it's going to work down there because Green Bay are a run first team. I don't know how it's going to work down there with him. I can't see it working somehow. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure about James Pierce Jr. I mean, I know Ollie's very hard on him on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, my favorite pick out of the first draft was actually Josh Simmons. I said for a lot of last season that those tackles in Kansas are diabolical, and that's an instant left tackle starter there.
Yeah. I can see that.
So we said about Travis Hunter. being
Phil's not
dropped.
said his. Phil's not said his day one.
did.
bust.
He said,
Oh, you're
Travis.
saying Travis Hunter too?
Yeah.
What do we make of Jacksonville going up to get him? They've climbed up 2 places to give him. What do you
I
make
think
of it?
that might be the inexperienced rookie mistake of their brand new GM. Because they've
Really?
not just
Being
traded away,
aggressive.
they've not just traded away, they've also got rid of their first round next year and their second round next year to move up.
That's a big lot to give away, isn't it?
It's a big gamble. We've seen before when teams trade the farm for somebody they have high hopes and massive faith in, and it all blows up in their face. Is a name I can conjure up, baby. Do you know that name? Or shall I say it for you?
Yeah, I think I figured it out.
So you should, Trey Lance.
Hey, Trey Lance won as many Super Bowls as Lamar Jackson, so let's bring it out there.
Wonderful.
They can't all be Sonny Weaver Jr., can they? Come on. Baby, open your hands.
So, in terms of Travis Hunter, I believe first off, I was shocked Jacksonville did that, especially when he was asked in the thing, "How are they going to use you?" And he's literally said, "They haven't spoken to me."
We don't know yet.
And then Jacksonville, I believe, are going to use him as a wide receiver. And I don't think predominantly as a wide receiver. I don't think it was worth trading away what they did, because I think McMillan is probably a better wide receiver than Travis Hunter.
For this league, yeah, because he's bigger bodied and all that, as long as he can catch.
Yeah. So for me, I don't think Travis Hunter was the best wide receiver in the draft. And I don't think Travis Hunter was the best cornerback in the draft. So he's a great at both, but you kind of need to draft him for both to draft him at number 2, in my opinion.
Agreed. He is, if he does it in the league and he ends up being a multi-pro bowler, fair play to him. But there's not many people in this league who can do it at that.
I believe OBJ played both at LSU, did he not?
Who did?
OBJ.
Nowhere near as much as Travis did. He was like 25% of the snaps if he needed dropping on defense just to cover in and things like that. I know he did it for season when there was injuries down in there, but yeah. We all called it. Yes, I know. I said Jacksonville go at 5, but I heard something in the press, so I went with it. Ashton Jeanty, the Raiders. Yeah, that's a Tom Brady pickup if I've ever heard of one.
We said that for weeks. My next question was going to be, how many picks did we get right between the 4 of us? The teams picked the players we said they'd pick. Ashton Jeanty and Cam Ward stand out like a sore thumb. We knew they were going to those teams, and they did.
We got 4 right in the first 5. In the first 6.
That trade. No one saw that trade come in, did they? So
we got McMillan right.
I read a quote from the Raiders GM which said, "My son has made it very clear that he is quitting on the family if we don't take Jeanty at 6."
Finally, yeah, we've spoken about Shadir Sanders. We haven't spoken about what excuse my language here, the dickhead defensive coordinator's son did.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to incorporate that in the intro for tonight's show, and I completely forgot about it.
I think I'm surprised they haven't fired the defensive coordinator for that.
So they've been fined $250,000, and he's been fined $10,000. The DC. I am very shocked the league have gone, right, sod it, you're losing first round pick next year. Because that is despicable. But not only that, but it's come out that a few more players. Adil Carter was another one who got prank called as well.
Maybe.
Wow, he went
I didn't
number
know
3.
that.
Yeah, and
Wow.
it's these numbers obviously being leaked, on. It's been ridiculous. What you don't know, the defensive coordinator's son from Atlanta phoned Shadir Sanders. I think it was in the first round, saying we're picking him here at whatever number it was, 15, as a prank phone call. Ridiculous, childish, stupid. These are these kids' futures, careers, livelihoods they're talking about here, and it's outrageously poor, and I don't like that at all.
Based upon the Falcons' ridiculous pick of quarterback last year, you can see why Shadir Sanders actually believed he was going to Atlanta.
Yeah, but they've got Penix there, and he played, 2 games? So, yeah, it's ridiculous at the end of the day. Round the table, who is your steal of the draft? Mr. Perry.
I'm going to go first. I'll go on.
Go on.
Right, no, go. Shane, go first. I've got to think. I can't remember.
I'm more disappointed than anything else. As we've mentioned a few weeks ago, I'm really new to this college football world, and my team is Louisville because obviously OBH got me a Louisville Cardinals jersey for Christmas, so that's my team I follow. And I saw Tyler Shuck go to the Saints, which I think is a really good pick for them. But Ashton Gillette, the edge from Louisville as well, went to the Chiefs in the 3rd round, and I was like, oh, I want them to go to someone I don't dislike. Yeah, I think they got a steal there.
Mr. Perez?
I don't know off the top of my head. I'm just doing some quick research.
Baby Hope.
I'm going to say Cam Scatterbo. I think that's a great pick by
Yeah.
New Orleans.
next to my
Not
mouth.
New Orleans, New York.
I've got it.
I'm going Mike Green.
Yes. Love you,
He's
Mike
lost.
Green.
He was predicted first round, and not only
was.
scraping in, you're talking top 15 first round pick, and he fell to 59 overall. Maybe it's because he's from Marshall, small college, possibly that reason why. But he did really well in the combine. Apparently, interviewed really well, and he was really liked. When are you going to get him? He's an edge rusher. I think he was number 3 edge rusher on the board, and yet 3 or 4 went, or 5 or 6 went before him in the first round, in the first 50 picks.
Mike Green will not be stopped.
No.
Very good.
Have you done your research?
Yes, and it's actually someone I completely forgot about. Ashton Genty for the Raiders.
We just mentioned Ashton Genty.
How's that steal at 6?
Huh?
How's
How's
that
that
steal at
Steelers
6?
Genuinely, because it's a huge value for the Raiders, considering that it fills a team need. And also, I actually didn't realize he was back in the league, baby. But Chip Kelly is the offensive coordinator in Vegas.
Yeah, I do actually
Is he?
remember seeing that.
Yeah. I've just looked it up. So I mean, as long as the Raiders tell him to not run into his offensive lineman like previous running backs from last season have done, it fills a team need, and also as well, his quality, and he's going to be heavily featured on that new look Las Vegas Raiders offensive unit. So I think that's a steal. Genuinely, I'm looking forward to him. I might even get his jersey.
Why does that not surprise me? Perrin's getting another jersey.
Let's see. DHgate favourite customers off again.
All right. Finally, before we go, out of your draft prospects from your team, which player's jersey do you think you will get first? I'm going first because it's in my name. Again, the running back Henderson.
Yeah, I want to go Malachi Starks, but I think, I mean, as we mentioned in the podcast this week, you know, what is it with the Ravens organization and people who have sketchy, maybe extracurricular activities? I got my green jersey.
I'm going to
Maybe.
go Alfred Collins. Our second. The
Fair
defensive
enough.
tackle. I feel like
Not to sound like only because we're literally just doing a Christmas list between each other now. I'm
Yes, we are.
gonna go with CJ West.
Oh, the defensive tackle.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Collins and West. I think that's going to be Collins, West, and Bosa, along with Williams. Oh my good God, that could be a unit in a couple of years.
I'm surprised you don't go for the Christian or Curtis Roke. I thought that'd have been right up your street, Mr. Perrins.
I mean, to be fair, that is potential as well. Like if he actually, I mean, to be fair, I've also thought about getting him a Corporal jersey this year as well, just for giggles.
Do it. I'm surprised you haven't already.
I'm just going to say now, I'll wait until after Christmas, just in case one of you brothers wants to jump on that train around Christmas.
No, I already know what jersey I'm getting you.
I would happily wear a Mac Jones 49ers jersey.
I mean, I got a Mac Jones Patriots jersey. You don't know where that one?
Did he do anything for the Patriots in that jersey?
Sorry?
Did he do anything for the Patriots in that jersey?
He got to a playoff. He got to the Pro Bowl.
Oh, sick. Could you write 1 and done on that jersey and I'll take it off you?
He's got 1 and 0. Does that count?
Yeah,
Right.
you need to put a hand in between.
Yeah. Right. Let us know which one of your draft class jersey you're going to buy, because that's going to be an interesting one. Put it on our Twitter, put it on our Facebook, or even our Instagram, wherever you get it from. Let us know which one of your draft team's jerseys you would buy, and who you support, obviously. I mean, we'll read them out next week. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Till then, stay safe and good night all.